understand why you feel that way. Let's work forward through the problem. And I feel like that's how I've always worked through something.
Can you read the question again for me?
Sure. My question was, what's your best advice or tips for handling conflict management resolution?
And I think you touched on a good point, because the active listening part, because a lot of people listen to respond, not necessarily listen to get their point across, because oftentimes I know I've done, okay, when is it my turn? When is it my turn to speak? I'm just ready to speak, and I'm not necessarily listening. I'm
You'll
just
hear
listening
one
to
part.
respond.
You'll hear one part and be like, oh, I can't wait till they finish so I can address this one part.
Right.
And then hear the
Rest
of
of it.
anything that
Exactly.
was said.
That's a good point. That's
I'm
a
just
good
ready
point.
for you to finish so I could be like, all right. So I heard you. Back to what you said on this point. Let me address that. And I didn't really even hear you. I was too busy thinking of what my response
Anybody else
is.
want to respond to that? The best conflict?
I'll say,
Go ahead. No.
Well, one of the things is, I think with conflict, a lot of us, if not all of us, view conflict as a negative thing. Conflict necessarily isn't negative; it could be positive. So within conflict, you also reveal you reveal stuff, not necessarily reveal, but you learn stuff about the other person as well as yourself. So looking at your different outlook on conflict also helps.
That's a good point.
I was just gonna say that I was told one time, because I in a conflict issue situation, I don't do well, because I was told, and I agree with, and I addressed it. Is listening is a skill, and a lot of people don't possess it. You know, like you said, the best thing, actively listening, not just listening. And that's all I want to throw in there.
What I wanted to add to that was, whenever there's a conflict, and I'm learning this now as I'm, my favorite word, becoming, humble yourself. Because a lot of the times we have so much pride, and we're so stubborn, and we're so like determined to be right and to stand on our position, that we forget to just humble ourselves. And so as I'm raising up this flock of children who are continuously arguing and fighting, I'm learning how to operate in the real world. Believe it or not, I'm learning from raising these children how to deal with a lot of things in life. And one of the things is, how do you deal with conflict? So when I step outside of the position of, I'm mom, so whatever I say goes, I learned that if you just take the moment to actually hear someone, even though you really don't want to hear it, if you just take the moment to actually hear what someone else is frustrated about, what they're going through, how they're feeling in a situation, you can then identify with them. And it'll help you to diffuse the situation and to really embrace it, and then help to resolve whatever's wrong in that situation. So being able to humble yourself in a situation that makes you uncomfortable or that's upsetting, to deal with a conflict, I think that's something that I'm learning now, and I think that's one of the biggest tools that I'm learning to accept.
That is good. And I want to piggyback on that too. First, I want to say I'm already seeing you. I know that you're going to be powerful in so many ways. Like, and I can already see that, and I'm definitely speaking that into your life.
Ooh, thank you.
In piggybacking off of that, I feel like when I'm at 10 or 15, I'm horrible at listening. I just
That's a good point to say. You already know if I'm here, I'm not really acting. Okay.
Yeah, so 10, 15, I'm not good at listening. Under 12, I'm alright. But when I'm in 5 to 7 range, I'm a great listener.
Yes.
So these are how I can interact. I'm a great listener. I'm engaged. Like, that's how I build with people, because they know I'm tuning in. Like, I'm all in. You're talking, I'm all in. Half of that's I genuinely love people. Like, I genuinely love people, and I'm empathetic towards people and their situations, and I'm just genuinely curious. And really probably in my mind trying to figure out, like, solutions and organizing in my mind. I'm an organizer at heart, so I'm thinking of solutions and we're going to connect and all that. But on a organizational level, we have partners and organizations, and tips I would give for conflict resolution, because as a Black woman, a lot of the times I feel like I'm the one that is taking on the emotional labor of everyone else in trying to get us together and trying to get us talking when funders are about to come to town, like just really playing that role of conflict resolution. A lot of us don't have those courageous conversations, and that's a value of mine, to lean into to have courageous conversations with people. Because I know the power of having, even though it's uncomfortable, having that conversation, so we don't have to be awkward when we're like passing by, or just kind of having that conversation, and that is a value of mine to really just lean in, and I'm still working on that. The second thing to that point, in regards to courageous conversations, a lot of times we're dealing with a lot more other things than the surface conversation that we're having. And that's another reason why it's good to have that conversation, because really at the end of the day, when you get down to it, had nothing to do with what you thought it had to do.
Thank you.
Right.
Pretty
Say
much.
that again.
So I'm always trying to get to this is what partners, let's get to, thank you for calling, I'm glad we're having coffee now. But tell me this end goal of this meeting. Like, get me here so I can't spend 15 minutes talking about the foo-foo thing. What's really going on.
Right.
That's fast forwards us to what the real issues, and we can spend some time talking about what's really going on. And then being open-minded enough and empathetic enough to say, okay, like, I understand where you're going with that. I understand kind of where you are. Now, I even see people making a full circle with themselves as I'm talking to them about even what they're like, dang, I wasn't even dealing with that. It was this. And then they trust me enough, because it's a safe space, because I've built that foundation where they're trusting me and we're having a vulnerable conversation about what's really going on. I'm able to tune into that, and then we can work together through that. That builds foundation and trust for the next time. And I've always operate, not always, but with partners in regards to conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Leaning into those conversations and just really getting down to the real shit has been helpful.
Courageous conversations. I like that. Go ahead, Elise.
I wanted to add a tip would be to recognize that different people come from different cultural approaches to confrontation. Right. So I was teasing her when she said confrontation doesn't have to be a bad thing, because New York, Chicago, we confront the confrontation. Right. We are very much like, I noticed you have a problem with me.
I don't do that no more.
Some people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did this. Like, you're so confrontational, and it's important to recognize that some people don't approach conflict, they don't confront it. Some people, they need to kind of sidestep it and walk around it a little bit. And, and some people have, everyone has a cultural reference. It can be based on age, it can be based on religion, it can be based on race, it can be based on where you're from,
right.
Geographic. Everybody has a different cultural, like, terms that they bring to handling conflict. And so one tip that I would just add to the question is, I have learned how to help people acknowledge their particular way that they have of handling conflict, because it's inevitable. And because I am someone who does confront the conflict up front, I have learned to position myself as an influencer on my team. And so I started, because I noticed that other people do not confront. They don't like confrontation.
Right.
But they do like snacks. So this might seem, but I'm so serious. Because when people are hungry and I have a granola bar or a bag of popcorn or something that I can just, and they learn to come to me for things, and it's non-confrontational. So then when the inevitable conflict occurs, I'm still approachable.
Yes,
that's good.
I'm still able to influence, because we've broken bread, and I've established that. And I had to realize that that's my frame of reference. My frame of reference is In Chicago, we'll stop you at the water cooler. Like, what's up? What's going on? But here, that's not how it goes. Here, like, you gotta have a meeting, talk to this person, send an email.
Right.
You know, then there's a group talk, and it has to be scheduled.
Oh my goodness.
And then, you know, then you might get down to it by the time everybody has talked about it 5 or 6 times.
2 weeks
like,
later.
you know, and at first I was like, I can't, this is too much. Like, we could have been done with this. Like, but I had to learn that's the culture and that's the process of it. And once I learned that, I started to study people because they would come and we could just chit chat. And it was non-threatening for them. And so then when the inevitable occurred, it was like, it was already a plan in place on my end.
Good job.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Good
Thank
tip.
you. Thank
Break it,
you.